Welcome back to Broncos Beat. Guys, Denver's defense was coming off their worst performance of the Vic Fangio era after giving up 48 points to the Bills week 15. So they knew this week would be a good opportunity to bounce back up against another really talented young quarterback in Justin Herbert. What was Denver's defensive game plan heading into LA, and what impacted the way that it was executed as the game went on, Ryan?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear that the game plan was to take away the big play from Justin Herbert, because that is where he has been just eating against other teams throughout the league. They wanted to keep him in the pocket so he wasn't able to, get out there and throw the 50-yard bomb down the field, and they did an incredible job of it. A hodgepodge of players out there, all making plays and executing the game plan. And we'll talk more about Vic Fangio in the next segment, but he's had some games this year where you say, like, yeah, that's why he was brought here, to do things like that. And to do that yesterday with that cast of players was really, really impressive. They didn't give it Justin Herbert, I believe, any throws over 20 yards until the late in the fourth quarter.
Right. Well, that final drive there for the Chargers was a bleak moment for the Broncos defense. I blinked and the Chargers were in field goal range. And this isn't the first time that has happened this season. So, James, how can the Denver defense improve in these late game situations?
I'm going to steal Ryan's word, hodgepodge, just because I wanted to say it as well on this show. And he's right, though, because a lot of times in these late games, you need big-time players to make big-time plays. There's not a lot of big-time players on that defense right now because of the hodgepodge of guys that are out there. Usually in these moments is when you have your Pro Bowl type of players come in, Cecil, and make a big play. They make something happen, a Bradley Chubb or a Justin Simmons. I mentioned those two because that's kind of about it. And Bradley Chubb didn't play in this game. So the problem is late in these games, a lot of times is, and it happened on a couple of those Austin Eckler runs, one missed assignment. When you got your hodgepodge group out there, one missed assignment allows something to happen because their talent is not out there to make up for mistakes. And mistakes are magnified at these aspects of games. And that's why you're seeing them struggle sometimes late in these games when you're playing a different defense than you usually have throughout the game. And then you have a missed assignment by just one guy. It changes everything. They can't force turnovers, Alexis. They just can't do it. And it's an issue that they have had. And you need big-time players to make big-time plays in those moments, and it just hasn't happened this season.
Well, you mentioned Bradley Chubb out of this game with an ankle injury. Jeremiah Tacho, he stepped up in his place. What did you think about how he and the other members of this front seven stepped up in his absence?
Well, get ready for Broncos Beat bingo, because I'm going to talk about fit. It's all about fit. And Jerry Tachu fit what Vic Fangio wants to do, even with the hodgepodge there. We're 3 for 3 on this one. And then I look at Malik Reed. Malik Reed now tied for the lead, the team lead in sacks. And coming through after last year, people tried to step forward and leap forward and say, he can be like Shaq Barrett. No, he can't. And certainly last year, he didn't show that ability. This year, it's coming around. I want to continue to see Malik Reed grow and develop as a pass rusher, and this puts pressure on the Denver Broncos, not to skip too far ahead, on their decision with Von Miller and his team option. So Malik Reed, Jerry Atachu, I'm going to give it up for Draymond Jones. I love him. Vic Fangio loves him. Coming through with the big play. There you go. He's the man. And again, kind of ascending player. Malik Reed, Draymond Jones, maybe keep Jerry Atachu on another one-year deal. Good moves for the Broncos in the future.
Well, a fresh face in the Broncos secondary was Parnell Motley, the undrafted free agent out of Oklahoma. And speaking of Broncos Beat bingo, hey, I'm sure you saw him at the Shrine game, the Senior Bowl, something, right?
Yeah, in fact, Parnell Motley at the Shrine game was one of the most dominant players I've seen in 15 years of never missing a Shrine game. He was dominant on every single day. Smaller corner, but very feisty, very physical, not afraid of contact, loves to talk, and you saw that attitude. That play on Mike Williams, who's huge, by the way, in the end zone, holding the Chargers to a field goal. That could have been like a type of game-winning type of play for the Denver Broncos. So again, you scoop him up. And James, I know your Tampa guys probably said he couldn't stop batting down or intercepting passes in training camp with the Buccaneers. This is a kid that's got good young talent, good upside there, and good job, Broncos, for picking him up.
So, Cecil, would you say you're part of the Motley crew?
100%.
We know. Hat tip to Shelby Harris as well. 2 batted passes and a baby boy on the way.